Hello everyone. Today you're inside Cleopatra's golden barge, the most luxurious display in the ancient world. The year is 41 BC. If you enjoyed this journey, like the video, subscribe to step into history, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next journey.
You are standing on the deck of a ship that is not supposed to exist. Not because it is impossible, because everything about it has been designed to make you believe you have left the world of possible things and entered something else entirely. That is the point. That has always been the point. And the woman who designed it is watching from the stern to see if it is working. It is working. The year is 41 BC. The river is the Cydnus in the province of Cilicia in what is now southern Turkey. The city of Tarsus is 2 miles downstream, and in that city, in the market square, Marcus Antonius, triumvir of Rome, conqueror of the East, the most powerful military commander alive, is sitting on his tribunal, waiting for the Queen of Egypt to appear before him. She has been summoned. He used that word, summoned. She's not coming to his tribunal. She's making him come to the river. He will come. Every person in Tarsus will come. Plutarch will record that the marketplace emptied, that Antony sat alone on his tribunal while the entire city moved to the waterfront, that he was left there by himself, which Plutarch notes with the specific amusement of a historian who understands exactly what had just happened to the most powerful man in the Eastern Mediterranean. But that is downstream. Pay attention to here. Pay attention to now. The barge is 150 feet long. Its stern is solid gold, not gilded, not gold leaf over wood, the way Nero would later plate the walls of his impossible palace. Solid cast gold, shaped into the curved architecture of an Egyptian royal vessel, catching the afternoon light off the Cydnus and throwing it back across the water in sheets. The river on both banks is burning with reflected light before the ship has fully rounded the last bend. The people of Tarsus, standing on the waterfront, see the light before they see the ship. They see the sky change color over the water, and then the ship comes around the bend, and they understand what they are looking at. The sails are purple, Tyrian purple, the specific dye extracted from murex sea snails on the Phoenician coast. 10,000 snails per gram of dye, the most expensive color in the ancient world, the color that by Roman law only the emperor was permitted to wear in certain quantities. The sails are soaked in it, and the wind off the Cydnus, which has been blowing from the southwest since mid-morning, catches those sails and carries their smell ahead of the ship. The smell of Tyrian purple is specific and strange, slightly marine, slightly sulfurous. The smell of the sea bottom and the creatures that live in it, transformed by chemistry and labor into the color of power. The people on the bank smell it before the ship arrives. They smell empire approaching, and the oars are silver. Not the oar blades, the shafts. Silver fitted over the wood, the full length of each oar, so that as the rowers pull in time, 80 oars rise and fall in synchronized rhythm. The silver catches the same light as the golden stern, and the motion of the oars throws it in pulses across the water. The river flashes. The rhythm of the flashing matches the rhythm of a heartbeat, slightly slower, regular. Hypnotic in the way that regular rhythm at the edge of perception is always hypnotic. Plutarch writes that the oars move to the sound of flutes, that the rowers pulled to music, that the music carried across the water to the bank before any other sound did. She thought of everything. She's been thinking of this for 20 years. Stop. Understand what this ship is before you walk further. This is not luxury. Luxury is what you spend money on when you have solved every other problem.
Hello again. If you've made it this far, subscribing to my channel, Step into History, really helps me. Now, let's continue where we left off.
This is a weapon. Every purple sail, every silver oar shaft, every gram of Tyrian dye, and every musician timing the stroke rate to the frequency that makes a human nervous system relax against its will. This is a military instrument designed to do one specific thing: reframe the negotiation before it begins. Antony summoned her as a subordinate. She's arriving as a goddess. Cleopatra is 28 years old. She has held Egypt for 11 years against forces that destroyed everything else Rome turned its attention toward. Julius Caesar is dead. The men who killed him are dead. The republic that produced all of them is functionally dead. Two men are dividing the world between them. One of them is sitting in the marketplace of Tarsus. The other is in Rome. And Egypt is the largest unabsorbed prize remaining in the Mediterranean. 12,000 talents of annual revenue. The grain supply for half the ancient world. The last kingdom standing. She cannot beat Rome with an army. She has never tried to beat Rome with an army. What she has done for 11 years, what she learned to do before she was old enough to rule, is make Rome calculate that taking Egypt costs more than leaving it in her hands. Antony needs to make that calculation today. This ship is the first number in the equation. Walk toward the stern. The smell on the deck changes every 20 feet. This is not an accident. The incense burners are positioned at calculated intervals along both rails, each one burning a different preparation. The bow carries frankincense, the clean, sharp resin smell of the Arabian trade routes, the smell of temples and elevation and the divine. Moving aft, the smoke thickens and sweetens. Kefi, the 16-ingredient Egyptian sacred incense, cedar and myrrh and cinnamon and honey and wine and things that resist naming. The smell that the priests of Isis have been burning for 1,000 years in temples along the Nile. And at the stern, near where she sits, something lighter, rose water, misted from small vessels by attendants stationed along the rail, so that the air at the stern smells of living flowers rather than sacred smoke. The progression is deliberate. You walk from the divine toward the human, from the temple toward the woman. The architecture of the scent is the architecture of the approach. By the time you reach the stern, you have been prepared. She's lying under a canopy of gold cloth, not sitting, lying on a couch covered in cloth of gold in the posture of a figure from an Egyptian temple frieze. The formal recline of a goddess receiving supplication. She's dressed as Aphrodite. This detail is in Plutarch, and it is not metaphor. She's wearing the specific attributes, the girdle, the particular arrangement of the drapery, the accessories that a Hellenized Mediterranean audience in 41 BC would read as the iconographic signature of the goddess of love and desire and strategic alliance. She has done her research. Antony has publicly identified himself with Dionysus. Aphrodite and Dionysus are the divine couple of the Greek mythological tradition. She is telling him what this meeting is before he has said a word. On both sides of her couch, boys dressed as Eros stand with fans made from peacock feathers, moving them slowly so that the gold cloth of the canopy stirs in the artificial wind and the incense smoke drifts in patterns across the deck. Beautiful boys selected for the specific quality of beauty that reads as divine in a Hellenistic context. She knows what Hellenistic beauty looks like. She knows what every audience looks like. She speaks 9 languages, and she reads every room in all of them. Her attendants are women dressed as sea nymphs, standing at the ropes and the rigging, their white linen moving in the actual wind off the river. And the musicians, flutes and lutes and a cithara played by a woman positioned near the stern rail, are playing something that Plutarch does not name, but describes as sweet. The specific word he uses implies music that does not demand attention, but simply enters you, the way the smell of food enters a room before you have decided to be hungry. She's watching the bank, not performing the watching, actually watching. Her eyes move along the crowd assembling on the waterfront with a specific quality of attention you recognize if you have ever watched a general read terrain. She is counting. She is calculating the density of the crowd, the speed at which it is growing, the distance from the city center, the time elapsed since the ship rounded the bend. She is measuring the effectiveness of what she has built. The boys with the fans move their peacock feathers in slow arcs. The silver oars rise and fall. The kefi smoke drifts across the gold canopy. She looks at the bank, and she does not look satisfied, because satisfaction is not a useful emotion at this moment. And she does not waste attention on emotions that are not useful at the moment she is in. This is the thing that will not survive in the historical record. Not the purple sails or the silver oars or the golden stern or the boys dressed as Eros. Those will survive because Plutarch saw it, or read the accounts of men who saw it and wrote it down. And Shakespeare read Plutarch 1,700 years later and put it in Antony and Cleopatra almost verbatim, which means it is arguably the most famous ship in all of literature. All of that survives. What does not survive is the intelligence required to conceive it, the items of preparation, the questions she asked her advisors about Antony's specific aesthetic preferences, his religious identification with Dionysus, the visual vocabulary that would reach a Roman general trained in the Greek tradition. The cost calculations, because this ship cost real money, and Egypt's treasury is not unlimited, and every talent spent on silver ore shafts is a talent not spent on grain storage or garrison pay. And she made that calculation, and decided the silver ores were worth more than the grain storage, because grain storage does not reframe negotiations, and silver ores do. The timing, the approach angle, the choice of the Cydnus over a land route, the decision to be late enough that anticipation built, but not so late that it became an insult he could use. Every detail is a decision. Every decision is correct. This is what 20 years of surviving looks like when you are the last ruler of a 300-year dynasty, and the only tool you have that Rome cannot simply take away is the quality of your own mind. A messenger arrives at the stern from a small boat rowing alongside. A tablet, an invitation from Antony, requesting that she dine with him in Tarsus. She reads it. She does not change her expression. She dictates her reply to a secretary standing at her left. Antony is welcome to dine with her here tonight, aboard the ship. She turns back to the bank. The crowd is still growing. The dinner that follows is the most documented meal in the ancient world. And it is documented because it is incomprehensible to the people who witnessed it. The sheer density of impossible things in the same place at the same time. Plutarch writes of the 12 dining couches, the purple draperies embroidered with gold, the vessels of gold and silver and precious stones covering every surface, the lights, thousands of them, arranged in patterns of squares and circles, suspended from ropes above the deck, so that the ship at night becomes a constellation on the water, visible from Tarsus 2 miles away. The city is able to see from its windows a new geometry of light on the river that has no explanation except the one that is already spreading through the marketplace. She apologizes for the inadequacy of the arrangements. She says this was assembled too quickly to do justice to the occasion. She will do better tomorrow. Tomorrow night, she does better. The night after that, better still. 3 nights on this ship, and Antony never returns to his tribunal. 3 nights, and the most powerful Roman commander in the Eastern Mediterranean has reorganized his understanding of where the center of the world is. She knew it would take 3 nights. She planned for 3 nights. The ship was provisioned for 3 nights before she left Alexandria. This is the moment historians point to as the beginning of the end of the Roman Republic and the pivot toward what becomes the empire. The alliance formed on this ship between Cleopatra and Antony will determine the shape of the next decade of Mediterranean history. It will produce 3 children. It will end at Actium in 31 BC, with both of them dead and Octavian inheriting everything. It will produce the Roman Empire as a direct consequence of the calculations made on this deck, on this river, in this autumn of 41 BC. But that is 10 years away. Right now, the silver oars are rising and falling in the afternoon light, and the 𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐩𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐨𝐇𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐲𝐲, and the crossing the gold canopy. And she is watching the bank, and the bank is watching her. And Antony is walking down from the city through the emptied marketplace alone, which is exactly what she designed this ship to make him do. She does not watch him come. She waits until he is at the water's edge before she turns. Then she looks at him the way she looks at everything, completely, without remainder. The boys with the peacock fans do not stop moving them. The music does not stop. The golden stern holds the light of the afternoon sun for another hour before the river bends, and the shadow of the Taurus mountains reaches the water. And the thousands of lamps are lit one by one, and the ship becomes the thing it was always going to become on the water of the Cydnus in the dark. A constellation, a weapon, the most expensive calculation in the ancient world, burning on the river, waiting. She has been waiting for this meeting since she was 8 years old. She is ready. Thank you for watching Step into History. For a brief moment, you stepped into a world that once existed, a city that shaped history, and lives that felt just as real as ours today. These stories are more than the past. They are echoes of how we lived, built, and understood the world. If you want to continue exploring lost civilizations, subscribe and join the journey. Where should we travel next?